How's it going, Fusion Youth and parents? I want to come on here and make this video for any of the parents and youth that couldn't make it to the camp meeting. And so this video is just going to be detailing all the rules and procedures for camp, when we're leaving for camp, when we're coming home, and all those important details that we all need to be aware of. So we're 2.5 weeks out until camp, and we're looking forward to this being the best week of the summer for our students. But in order for it to be the best summer, we must go over some important details. The first important thing to talk about before leaving for camp is, when do we leave for camp? Well, Monday, June 23rd, we're going to meet at the church for 11 a.m. We're going to have canes for lunch. I'm going to make sure that we're all fed and before we head out. And then after eating, we're going to load all the luggage into the vehicles and into the trailer. I think we got about 5 vehicles, 2 vans, a couple extra, and load all the luggage onto the trailer first. And then anything extra will go into the vehicles. We're planning to leave by 11:45 because registration, I believe, starts at 2. It takes a little over 2 hours to get there from here. And so please be there for 11. Try not to be there any later. And a couple other things to mention when it comes to packing luggage. Make sure it's nothing too big. You can bring your luggage for your main clothes and snacks and things like that, and then bring a book sack or gym bag for daily uh, travels on campus. And so that'll be great. That'll be perfect because we're always limited for space. So try to pack light, pack the necessities, and we'll go over what to pack in just a moment. So once we leave for camp, our drive is not that long. It's like I said, it's a little over 2 hours long, but I always want to share some rules that we have for traveling, and these rules also apply when we're at campus as well. So, no student's going to drive a vehicle to or from a church sponsored event without permission from the student pastor. There will be no students driving during camp, all adults. Um, these are not allowed on the van or church trips in general. Non prescribed drugs. If your student is taking any type of medication, I need to know about it just so I can be aware. Even if it's like Advil, ibuprofen, please just let me know. Um, no drinking alcohol, no tobacco products. That's including vapes, cigarettes, all those are not allowed at all. Um, if we find that, we will take it. We will take it. No pornography of any kind. Um, if that is found that you are looking at on your phone, in the van, or even in your rooms, we will contact parents and we will let them know about what's going on. No weapons of any kind, and that includes pocket knives. Leave it at home. You don't need it. No offensive music or clothing as well. So make sure if we're listening to music on our phones that we're listening to appropriate music, and our clothing um, is modest and it represents Christ. Okay. Also, this one goes not only for travel but also for camp. I'm big on this year, especially because we got a number of younger ones. No one goes anywhere alone. While the group is actively traveling, no one goes anywhere alone. It's a good idea to never be alone when the group is on a trip. Use the buddy system. Sixth graders, seventh graders, eighth graders, high schoolers, wherever you go, make sure you have somebody with you. Um, that way, if someone gets lost, you can help each other find your way around campus. Mississippi College is not that hard to get around once you learn the campus, but you also always need to be with somebody. If I find you wandering off by yourself, I will get on to you. So expect it. Um, no student may leave a vehicle for any reason without the permission of a chaperone. Once you leave on a vehicle to camp, you're going to come back in that same vehicle from camp. Okay. Um, so that I've always tried to use that rule. So whatever vehicle you jump in, that's going to be your vehicle for the rest of the trip. If we end up stopping, whether for gas or for a gas station for any reason, which we may stop on the way home, just depending on things, those are not social times. If you need to go to the bathroom, go in, maybe get a drink, come back out. We got things to do, places to be, so it's not; those are not social times. Um, also, if we get out of the vehicle, please make sure we're not wearing any pajamas, and make sure there are shoes on your feet. We don't want to go walking around barefoot or just in your socks. There's no yelling, fighting, or rough play in vehicles, even or at camp. Have respect for the person driving. Okay, we don't want a distracted driver. And when it comes to food on the vans, especially in the rented vans, we need to be very careful. No gummy things, nothing that's going to melt and get stuck in the vehicles. No gum, no sunflower seeds. If you bring a drink on there, make sure it's screw on. I'm going to be, because we had a couple spills last year. I'm going to be kind of a stickler on that this year. Once we get to our destination, take all your trash out, especially when we come back from camp. Don't leave the vans in a mess because we got to bring them back in good shape. Um, let's see, make sure we're not drinking a lot on the way there. We don't want to have a lot of bathroom breaks, and I don't foresee that being an issue. Also, another big one for me and for just the day and age that we live in, um, no energy drinks after lunchtime. Some students don't need to be drinking energy drinks at all. That's between you and your parents, but my rule is none after lunchtime because sometimes once you have it after lunchtime, it's hard for a number of you to go to sleep, or you'll crash early and won't be awake for worship service that night. So, no energy drinks after lunchtime. Um, let's see, no boys or girls in rooms. No public displays of affection. Um, and so my rule is no purple. Um, if we have relationships or boyfriend and girlfriend, if you or whatever, no holding hands, no none of that. Just keep it PG. All right. No one shares a no, and also no one shares a blanket in the van or a vehicle. Um, Cell phones will be normally allowed on most outings for use in vehicles during travel phase of trips only. Headphones are required. Make sure we're wearing our headphones. The person next to you may not want to listen to the music that you're listening to. The use of cell phones during camp depends heavily on the students' usages of their phones. And that's one of my big rules is that if you are using it correctly and at the times we allow you to, then I have no problem with students having phones. The issue is whenever we begin to use it in times that we're not supposed to. Worship service, Bible study, anytime we're gathered as a group when we need to be focused on the speaker or the event going on, we need to be off our phones. There'll be times throughout the day you can call or message your parents, but keep the phone usage to a minimum. If I see you on your phone a lot, I will ask you to put it away. So just expect it. Okay. No practical jokes on trips. Everyone is usually uncomfortable enough while we travel without a practical joke to make it worse. So leave each other alone. No jokes. Um, so mm, we are encouraging and loving one another. Okay. All students are respect other students and their property. Do not be digging in anyone else's bag. Um, that's a big deal. Don't do it without permission for any reason. Also, if you're bringing snacks, no taking snacks. We've had things before. We had like snack wars where we would playfully take snacks, but people would actually probably eat the snacks, and it's just never a good recipe for success there. So uh, keep your snacks. Don't take anybody else's. Leave everybody else's bag alone. Worry about yourself. Okay. I talked a little bit about cell phones, and so this is my cell phone policy. You'll see this in the camp handout. Phones will be allowed with the understanding of the following. And this is where I'm going to be kind of a stickler this year because I've seen a number of our students become distracted by their phones in the past 2 years. So this is what's not allowed with regarding the phone. inappropriate music or shows. So I know a number of our students like to watch Netflix shows and things like that. For camp, just don't stay in the moment. I'd rather us be in conversation with each other instead of watching a show. At night, going to sleep, uh, you need to put the phone away, go to sleep. Um, for me, sometimes I'll watch YouTube to go to sleep. I don't think that's a big deal, but as long as we're getting our rest, that's important. Um, uh, no social media posts that are negative or inappropriate. No inappropriate photos, videos, texting. If we find that's going on, we will contact parents and we may have to pick up the phone. Um, Also, one thing I want to make a rule of this year is when we're in the dorms, please let's not take photos, especially when we're in sleeping quarters. Um, just because for safety reasons and for privacy. All right. Make sure there's no looking at pornography at any time. That is not allowed at all. Um, and then also using phone at the wrong time um, during worship service. Students sometimes want to use their phones for their notes. The issue with that I've seen is that whenever a Snapchat comes through, it's an immediate response to click on that Snapchat, and then you're distracted from your notes and from the worship. So we will have notebooks, and I'm asking that all students bring their own hard copy Bibles, so that way we're locked into the messages and to our Bible studies during those times. Um, Again, if any student is found to be abusing the use of their cell phones will be collected and secured. I will have a place in my room that I will have if they are to be taken up, and we will call you and let you know why the phone was taken. And I'm asking my adults on our trip to please help us in this regard. If we see a student with a phone, come and talk to me, and I'll make sure it's taken care of. Phones are a great tool, but they can also be a great distraction. And so I want to make sure that we are fully committed to going to camp and seeing what God has to offer us rather than being distracted by outside things. There's another section in our camp packet that I want to address before talking about things you need to bring to camp. Risks and responsibilities. We are not responsible for any lost, stolen, or damaged items. So please talk to your young person about what is really necessary to bring to camp. Um, so no gold necklaces, no expensive watches. You don't need to bring your PlayStation. You don't need to bring a TV. That's no. You don't need to bring that. Okay. And so because truth be told, sometimes it might get stolen, broken, and so out the gate, we are not responsible for anything. So please talk with your young person about what's necessary to bring. These are things I'm asking specifically that we bring to camp. A Bible. You need to bring a hard copy Bible, and I'm not talking about a cell phone, the Bible app on your phone. I'm talking about the old school Bible. If you need one, we have plenty of extra at the church. We'll make sure you have one. I will ask before we leave that if everyone has their Bible, because we'll need it during Bible study, during share time, during worship services. And so I want to be fully invested in that regard. Also, bring a notebook and a pen, especially for Bible study and worship. Yeah, the speaker will more likely say something that will resonate in you, and you want to write it down. And so, use pen, use paper. I've done it for years. It works. Bring a backpack or a gym bag. I always bring a gym bag every year to camp. That way, to keep my water bottle, to bring my notebook and my Bible. I bring it with me everywhere I go. Sometimes I put my lanyard on it with my name tag, and so it keeps all my stuff together. I remember where it's at, and that way, if I leave my dorm, I don't have to go back to my dorm to get anything. Everything is in my gym bag. So bring that with you wherever you go to worship service, to Bible study, to rec. Bring that gym bag. Um, Always bring a small umbrella or a poncho. There's usually at least one day during camp that it rains, sometimes multiple days. So bring something to protect you from the rain. Bring some flip flops or Crocs. Um, not to wear just daily, and I don't mind every now and then, but you may want to use them in the dorm showers. Okay. Um, Depending on, I don't know if we have our own bathrooms or shared showers. Depends on where they put us once we get there. So bring those. A couple other things regarding that. When it comes to recreation and for mega relay and different things, they will not allow you to go out there with open toed shoes. So, no Crocs, no sandals, no flip flops out there. They will send you back. So, go into those. Keep in mind, just wear your tennis shoes. Okay. So, what about leaving camp? Well, camp ends that Friday on the 27th at 10:45. It might end a little bit earlier than that, might end up a little bit later. Just depends on how quick we load up and how quickly we get out of there. We'll eat pizza on the way home. I'll order us some pizza. That way we don't have to stop. We'll get something and then eat pizza in the vehicles on the way back. And then hopefully we plan to be back at the church by 2 p.m. That's kind of fluid just depending on when we leave. And so we will, once we get to probably around a Kentwood or a meet area, what's about 30 minutes to an hour away, we'll let all the parents know, hey, this is when we'll be home. In the camp packet, I attached um, the 2025 parent pack that Fuge offers. So the first page talks about just welcoming to camp and talks about the difference between centrifuge and infuge. If you have that, take a look at that. Most of our students this year are going to CFuge, and so that they'll remain on campus the whole time. They'll have their track times. They'll have one track A at one time, track B at another time, and then we'll have worship, church group time, camp wide fellowships, and while uh, Centrifuge is doing either rec or the tracks, those who are going to Infuge will be off campus doing our mission projects. And then we'll come back on campus and do everything else that CFuge is doing. Um, we have 3 leaders going to Infuge. That's me, Miss Brittany, my wife, and Ainsley McNaughton. The other 5 chaperones will be at CFuge, make sure everyone else is taken care of on campus. And so if you have a question about your student, just contact me and I'll make sure to get information to those, especially if your students at CFuge. I'll get it to the leaders at CFuge. So they're aware of that. The next page has camp schedule. The biggest thing with the schedule, especially for parents, I like to give it to them, is because winter sometimes I can contact my child or keep it or talk to them, so breakfast is a good time, during lunch and during dinner, and then also during hang time at 4 o'clock they'll have some free time that they're not in their track sessions or recreation, and so that you can call them at that time. And then especially again late at night once we get back to our dorms, that's a perfectly good time to call. And so yeah. And then dress code. So this is one I always try to be another stickler on. The key word for uh, camp dress code is modesty. Biggest thing is shorts and t-shirt. Appropriate length shorts and a decent t-shirt is really all you need every day. Um, Again, they're saying wear modest shorts. It basically whenever hands are extended to the back or the front, fingertips much touch the fabric. Um, Make sure sleeveless shirts and tank tops are allowed during daytime activities, but shirts with spaghetti straps, open backs, or excessive armpit cutouts with exposed torso and undergarments or that show midriff are not allowed. So I've seen a number of guys have cutouts of their shirts all the way down to here. Don't do that. Just wear, if you wear no sleeve, just make sure it's no sleeve, but make sure it's lengthy enough, no spaghetti straps for the girls. Also, they're saying that large t-shirts that cover shorts should not be worn as well. So make sure that we can see the length of your shorts. Okay. Uh, Here's their rule: wear closed-toed and closed-heel shoes while at recreation at track times. Um, that's for infuge and cfuge. No, so just rule of thumb when we're going outside, wear tennis shoes. All right. If you go swimming, they have some swimming available. Wear a one-piece bathing suit or two-piece suits covered with a dark colored T-shirt if participating in water activities. That's usually for the girls. So one piece, modest one piece, and if you wear two-piece, make sure you wear a dark colored T-shirt over it. Again, when we go to worship service, make sure we take a shower before then. I treat it just like a church service. Wear shorts, pants, jeans, or dresses for worship. Don't come in there smelling or looking just like you came off the rec field. Go and change and then get ready for worship. And that's for morning worship and evening worship. You will have time. Um, so make sure if modest sleeveless tops are allowed in worship, just think about things that you'll wear on a Sunday. Um, Again, do not dress in a way that calls attention to underwear, um, sagging your pants, rolling down your waistbands, or wear pants or shorts that with lettering on the bottom. Just nothing that brings attention to anything that we need to bring attention to. Um, Also, for if you're going to infuge, you may want to wear pants, just depending on the kind of the activities that they have us doing that day. Um, don't pack anything that advertises alcohol, tobacco, illegal drugs, nothing that explicitly or implicitly promotes racism, sexism, or hatred of any group or person, nothing that explicitly or implicitly refers to sexual actions or situations, nothing that has spaghetti, small straps, open back, or excessive armpit cutouts, except for sleepwear. When you're sleeping, it we're not that worried. Just wear your PJs. Um, Nothing that is excessively short or tight fitting. So again, modesty is key. I want to ask that my adults model and monitor our group to ensure students are dressing appropriately. Like I said before, easiest way to go about it, especially during recreation time, t-shirt, shorts and t-shirt. And then during worship service times, wear something that you wear on a Sunday morning. Okay. It's not a fashion show. We're not going there to impress anyone. We're going to learn more about Christ and to grow in our relationship and our knowledge of our Savior. All right. All right. So let's see what else we got. They talk about inappropriate behavior. They talk about what not to pack. A lot of things I've talked about before. Um, you don't need to bring a laptop. Nothing crazy. They also have a list of things to pack. Also, make sure you bring towels. They don't provide towels, so bring towels, beach towel, hand towel, and a washcloth. Um, Bring your favorite pillow and blanket. You can bring them onto the van. Um, the bedding they have every year is twin size bedding, so you will need that. Um, so some type of sheet to put over the mattress and another little blanket over that. You'll be fine. Some people bring sleeping bags, which works as well. Um, Also, it says bring alarm clock or watch. Most of our students have their phones that have alarms. Set multiple alarms. I will be going around waking people up, but I don't want to have to go to your room like 10 times to wake you up. Okay. Bring toiletries such as shower gel, shampoo, toothbrush, toothpaste, deodorant. Please bring deodorant and hand soap. All right. Spending money for snacks, camp store, missions offering. There's always one night where they do a missions offering. Please say put some money aside for that. There will be snacks there. They have a Chick-fil-A on campus. Some of our students in the past said they didn't like what was for lunch. They went to the Chick-fil-A. But the only problem with that is that the line is usually very long, and sometimes our students get out, don't aren't able to get their food in time. My advice is try to eat the food they provide. You already paid for it, and so do that. And then if emergency arises and you really need something else to eat, then you can go to Chick-fil-A. Also, the theme for um, Mega Relay this year is Christmas themed. So if you are big into Christmas, bring your an ugly sweater, bring something Christmas themed for Mega Relay. Bring a hat, rain jacket, umbrella, a fan, a small fan, plastic bag for wet clothes. That's important, especially if you plan on swimming or if your clothes get really sweaty. Bring a plastic bag for wet clothes, bag for dirty clothes, and and it goes on to talk about again what not to pack, different camp rules. They talk about you will be dismissed from camp, and they have a policy for that. Um, and so, if for some reason a student does something inappropriate or that goes against their policy, they can send someone home. So, parents, just keep that in mind, and students. Um, Couple of activities to be aware of. They ask that you wear a name tag at all times. Keep it on you. That's just a safety concern. Make sure that we all know that we belong at that camp. Always, and this is their rule: have a buddy. Don't go it alone. Okay. And this is another one, big one for me. No name calling, fighting, bullying, arguing, profanity, or any other aggressive behaviors are strictly prohibited at camp, especially when it comes to recreation and play. Use good sportsmanship. Okay. We're encouraging each other, building each other up, and so no bullying of any kind. Any kind. Here's some rules for they have for housing. Be in your rooms by 11 p.m. That's late. And with lights out no later than 11:30. So by 11:30, lights need to be out, and by like midnight, we need to be asleep. So that way we get up, at least get 6 hours of sleep, and then get up in the morning and start our day. Again, no guys and girls rooms or hallways, and no guys and girls and guys rooms or hallways. That's big. Lost keys, that's another big deal. We've had in the past where people have lost keys. I think it's $25 per lost key. And if we give your student one, which we usually give just about all of our students one, if they lose it, then we're going to come back and ask you for that $25. So be mindful of that. Keep your keys. I'm probably going to have them on a carabiner onto their name tag, so they have reduce the chance of losing it. Um, the housing area should be kept clean in order and free from damage. Churches will be responsible for any damages to the room. So if like you break something on your wall, we are responsible for it. And I'm coming for you if you break something, and you'll be responsible for paying us back. Um, don't keep your room a complete mess. I've had students leave trash all over the floor throughout the week. Pick up after yourself. Keep it nice. That way, when you pick up at the end, there's not much left to pick up. Um, so don't keep your Coke cans or snack wrappers everywhere. So also big deal. Once we get there, if you see anything broken, let me know so that we are not responsible for it at the end. We need to report any damages once we get there. A couple of rules they have regarding the worship center. No food, no gum, food, or drinks allowed in the worship center. I think they usually allow like your water bottles. That's no big deal, but make sure there's no open cups. None of that. Um, Also, this is another big one. Once the worship service starts, put your phone up. It needs to go up in your pocket, in your bag. It doesn't need to be brought out until you get back to your dorms at night. Okay. Also, another thing they have, if campers must leave to go to the restroom, which we've had a number in the past, you should have an adult sponsor escort them. So, yeah, that's from junior hires to high schoolers. You need to have an adult escort you. So, hey, say if you need to go to the bathroom during worship, say, hey, brother Austin, hey, need to go. Can you go with me? I'll go with you. Okay. Or girls, you need to go to the bathroom. Ask Miss Brittany, Maeve, Hannah, Miss Melissa, or Ainsley, and they'll bring you. But in order to prevent that, make sure you go to the bathroom before it starts. You will have plenty of time before it starts to go to the restroom. Okay. Um, I talked about the camp dismissal, and then the very back of the camp packet is the theme and the Bible studies for each day. So, if parents, if you want to know what your students are learning at the Bible studies, um, it's provided in the parent pack. The theme this year is called "Into the Light: Owning Your Faith." Having a real, genuine faith, and not just leaning on the faith of your parents, but having your own faith in Christ, which I really, really like this theme this year. So our personal youth group word for camp, like this is something I always like to do. I'm a big person that I like to use words to kind of sum up an idea or a thought. Um, our first camp, the word was connect. I have my prayers that we would connect at camp. And then the D now, the word was close. Last year, the for camp, the word was cultivate or to grow. And this year, I want to stick with the C's. I've been praying about it, and the word is choose. And I get this word from Joshua 24:15, and the ending of the verse says, "Choose this day whom you will serve, where the gods of your fathers served in the region beyond the river, or the gods of the Amorites in whose land you dwell. But as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord." Every day, we're given a choice whether to obey God or disobey God, whether to grow in our faith or to stay stagnant in our faith. Um, as we head to camp, my prayer is that we choose one, as we talked about, to listen to the rules that have been provided, and then choose to go to camp with with the knowledge and the idea of, I'm going there to grow in my faith. Whether I'm going to infuge, CFuge, I'm choosing to put God first among all things. I'm choosing to allow this to be a growing event rather than just a fun event. And then my prayer is at the end of camp that we choose to not just let this summer camp be an event that we had there in the summer, but something that carries us into our school year, and that where we choose to own our faith. And so I'll be using this word a lot throughout camp. I think it's a very applicable word, not just for spiritual matters, but for many practical matters. So each day we have a choice. We can either choose to grow and to be obedient to Christ, or to not. And so choose today, right now, who will serve. And my prayer is that we will serve Christ at camp. And the last thing is camp celebration. This is if we go back in our um, packet, I talk about camp celebration. Camp's important, but it's really important that we bring camp home. It's a time where we get to come and share with our church what we learned and what we experienced at camp, and we do this through a Sunday morning camp service. Camp celebration service, or students share testimonies about what they learned at camp, and we sing some songs, and it's just a time for us to celebrate with our church and any decisions that were made, just to get to proclaim it uh, before our church, before we go out into the world and proclaim it. So that will be Sunday, July 6th, 8 a.m. and 10:30 service. So please be there for that. Wear jeans and your camp t-shirt that we'll get once we get there. So please make every effort to be here for this service. I know people probably might have things planned, vacations and whatnot, but if you can be here for that service, please be here. It's super, super, super important, especially for our students as we're coming back home from camp to really our well, begin being back home and sharing our faith. Um, so, a couple last things. What can you do right now? Well, number one, pray for your child's experience at camp. Pray, pray, pray. Also, let me know how I can pray. If there's some things going on in their life that would like to me be aware of and I can pray specifically for, please let me know. And then lastly, pray for your child's strength and commitment after camp. Camp has a way of getting our students excited, passionate about Christ. And so pray that that fire stays lit. Okay. Um, and below at um, I got some contact info. Got my number. Call me, text me, whatever you need to do. Facebook message me if you need to get in touch with me. Whatever you need to do, get in contact with me. And then also there's a girls leader contact, which is Brittany, my wife. Just contact her if you need something specifically immediately with the girls, and she'll make sure that's taken care of. Two last bits of information. We have a car wash this Saturday, the 7th, and also the 14th, from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. And these are just to help with transportation costs for camp. I didn't include that this year into the costs of camp for each student, so I was wanting to do this just to kind of offset some of that cost. So that's this Saturday, the 7th, and the 14th, next Saturday. And then also next Friday, we're going to have a girls' night. Girls are going to be going out doing a scavenger hunt, staying the night, and just a chance for our girls to get to know each other more before camp. So that way, once we get to camp, um, we'll have close relationships and close to our leaders, so they'll feel more comfortable sharing with them different things. So girls' night, June 13th, Friday, Friday the 13th. Um, I think that's it. Thank you for watching the video, and I'm praying for a great camp. And if you have any questions, please let me know. All right, thanks.